In celebration of 1 million subscribers, PhoBolsaTV enters a new chapter with a series of new programs, including Opportunity V, new weekly episodes on Fridays 6 p.m. California time or Saturdays 8 a.m. Vietnam time. What comes to mind when you hear Vietnam? Beautiful landscapes, delicious food, history? Vietnam is all this and much more. In fact, Vietnam has been one of the fastest growing economies in the world consistently, and is also one of the fastest growing populations of high net worth individuals in the world. In addition to having one of the world's best responses to the COVID-19 pandemic, we also expect Vietnam to continue its success in the post-COVID new normal. And we all look forward to seeing what Vietnam will have to offer. Welcome to the Opportunity V show, and I hope you will enjoy all our stories bringing Vietnam business to the global audience.
Hello and welcome to Opportunity V show. Today we have a very special guest for our first episode, Mr. Vươn, co-founder of Momo.
Momo, both an e-wallet and a super app, is Vietnam's most successful startup by many measures. As fintech reaches new heights, Momo has formidably led the way in Vietnam for over a decade and continues to enjoy enormous success. Most recently, Momo has a record 20 million users, integrated with 20,000 partners and over 150,000 payment points across the country. It also recently raised $100 million more in funding from Warburg Pincus, and is recognized as one of the top 50 global fintech leaders in Fintech 100.
So hello, Mr. Diep.
Hello, Shasha.
It's a pleasure to have you here on our show today.
Thank you.
And would you tell us about yourself? What led you to founding Momo, and how and why you started the company?
The company was started, 2007, and before that time I was in engineering. And I have, 14 years working in telecommunication and innovation sectors. And at that time, back to the 90s, we see that internet, and mobile phone, bring a lot of change to Vietnam. And it's changing the way that people communicate and, people connect to each other. So we see that technology really changed people's life. And what is next? It could be, education, is the healthcare, financial service. And we see that if we can use, the same technology in telecommunications to bring financial service to people, it could be a great way. So that's how we start, the Momo company.
Wow. So I'm sure at that time, even though the environment was already changing, I'm sure not many people were using smartphones yet. So in such a challenging landscape, what made you decide to enter such an industry?
At 2007, at that point, Vietnam, have about 10% population access to the banking service, and about less than 1% people can access to the formal lending services. So we see the case of Bangladesh. We had inspired by the action of Muhammad Yunus, the chairman of Grameen Bank. He changed people's lives to provide them microfinance services. So we just have thought that, okay, if we can use mobile technology to bring financial service to people very easy, so that we could do. And to do so, we will have come to talk with USAID, yes, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and GSMA, and they help us to discover all of the business model and things like that. It work in Africa, in Philippines. So we been in Kenya, Uganda, and rural area of Philippines, and look at how mobile technology can bring financial service.
Did you actually visit those places?
Yes, I've actually visited that, and I saw that could be help a lot, because in those area banking service not existed, and people live in rural area and separated. And I think that we can connect it with Vietnam conditions, because 10% of Vietnamese people can have access to banking service, and we have a long country like this and separate people. Mm-hmm. So if we can apply the same technology, the same thing that we work with them, and utilize the telco's, distribution system, to provide financial service, that could be how it starts.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's amazing. So how did you develop it from that point where it was on SIM card based phones to the point now where it's a smartphone app?
I think that we first start with the application in a SIM card. It's very small application in 128K, SIM card, but it's quite difficult to use and very difficult to update. Okay, so we also work with telco and the bank to provide money transfer service across the country. Yes, and then in 2013, we see that if we can do the old way, the traditional way, that is very difficult to reach the people, and the customer is very difficult to understand how to use that. So we make a turning point that we let do the applications. By 2012, 2013, smartphone is very limited in Vietnam. It's about 5% of the population have a smartphone, and running app in a smartphone is a crazy idea, and everybody at that point, use the computers with a web, based service, and they think that we're crazy. What happened with that, financial inclusion service go with smartphone? Yeah, but I think that's a, turning point decision for us, because after that, for a few years, the mobile phone is, increased significantly with a smartphone. It becomes so cheap, and nobody ready for that. Only Momo.
Right.
Yes, and we first one in the market, have a financial service app, and in a lot of time in the app market, it becomes top, even than those chat platform. It's quite amazing in that.
Yeah, that's amazing. So, Mr. Diep, how did Momo continue to enjoy such enormous success over a decade? Were there any memorable successes or challenges you encountered over these times to become and to maintain your spot as the industry leader?
I think that after changing from the SIM card to application, we got a lot of advantages, but it's not enough. One of our success, very success, point is building relationship with a bank and financial institution. Before, bank think that the fintech is like competitors, and we come to take their lunch. But we got to spend a lot of time to talk with them, to convince them that fintech is just extending hand of the bank. And if the bank is like an ocean, we are like small river to deliver the water to the people. So we have a very coordination with the bank. And now Momo will partner with 27 largest bank in Vietnam. And we partner with all of consumer finance company in Vietnam. So I think that's a good point, because the money should come from the bank. And we're the one to encourage people to using that, and we deliver money, to people. The other thing is very important is we build our team, our talent. Together with attract Vietnamese talent, we have success to recruit the talent from overseas, Vietnamese, overseas. They got, from Harvard, from Chicago, from Yale, from Columbia. All of them, still share with us the dream that use technology to change Vietnamese people's life, and they come back and work with us as a team to make it happen. And one thing very special and very lucky is we got investment from American investors. First with Goldman Sachs, and now with Warburg Pincus. They do help us a lot to upscale the company at a new level. With on a standardized procedure with international standard, so it helps us to move forward.
It's amazing that you were able to recruit such amazing people. Can you tell me a little more about the labor market in Vietnam in terms of tech? Because I know now you have many employees. So is it challenging to manage such a large amount of employees, and what's the talent like in Vietnam?
I think that Vietnam have young populations. And as digital economy increase in Vietnam, young people now focus to tech space. And Momo now, we got 1,000 employers, and most of them in engineering. And I think that the tech market in Vietnam now increasing and very promising, but we still need senior level. Now, too many tech companies, too many things related to tech, and recruit the senior level is not easy at all. and especially with an expert. Now we still recruit them from overseas.
So we were discussing some of the changes in the landscape and some challenges and even successes over the past years. And most recently now, there have been a few exclusive ecosystems that exclusively support other e-wallets, new brands in the market. So how have you overcome this new competitive landscape with all these other brands that get support from other major apps?
I think that currently Momo is number one e-wallet in Vietnam, but we still have a lot of competitors with advantages. But the fact that most of them is from international company, okay, and they develop the standard app for all of the market. For example, in general in Southeast Asia. But for the Momo, the advantage that we have is we develop only for Vietnamese market. And that product is customized for Vietnamese people with, make them feel much better about UI, UX. And the other thing, that the international app and the other unique cannot have it. And the other thing is, it's different from the other country. Vietnam is no one dominate the whole market. For example, one company may dominate a small part of e-commerce, the other small part of ride-hailing, but it's not big enough for them to control everything. So that's how Momo come in. We are independent platform. We connect with anyone with not conflict. Because if you close down your ecosystem like the other company do, that means you cannot work with other side. You only work with your small system. But now we have open platform. Anyone can work with it. Anyone can work with us. Yes.
Yeah, that's a very good advantage, and that's the reason why your user base is over 200% the amount of even the next leader in the market. So that's great. And since we're on that subject, on Momo being an independent platform and partnering with so many brands, over 20,000, can you talk more about Momo's recent development as a super app?
Okay. So you know that now we start as a payment app, but customer demand more. They want, okay, I want to come to the app to purchase anything. I want to one-stop shopping. So that's how we develop things. Now we provide 24/7 service for the customer. Customer can come to have a taxi, have a breakfast, drink a coffee, buy a ticket movie, buy an air ticket, insurance, anything is on the app. Because now we integrate our partner app inside the Momo app, so customers just come into Momo and they can use all the other services. So I think that is a good way for the people, and it's also good for our partners, because now we can propose and sell the product directly to the customer. We can skip a lot of middleman, reduce the cost for service and good distribution. So it advanced for the customer. It's easy to purchase the product. For us, we can propose the service to the customer, and for the service provider, cut the cost. So everybody happy with that.
That's true. That's great. And since you're getting involved in so many other industries besides your core business, which is fintech, where do you see the future going with Momo as a super app? And where do you see the ecosystem in general? What areas do you see yourself focusing on with all these different services within one app?
I think that now super app that means everything that you have in that, and it's not only payment, but it's also other thing. For example, it's not fintech; it's also insurtech. Now Momo partner with most of the insurance company in Vietnam, so you can buy anything insurance in the app. You can buy, after you buy the air ticket, you can buy insurance for delay the flight, health insurance, whatever you wish to for. So I think that the technology will bring everything together, and it makes customer feel happy and provide them anything that they need in life for that.
That's very convenient. So do you see Momo continuing to become an even bigger ecosystem for all of these users in the market? I know you have about 20% of the population using Momo already. Yeah. That's amazing. So do you see yourself focusing more on other things in addition to fintech, besides insurance?
Yes, I think that for this years, what Momo want to focus, we want to focus to small SME, for small merchants. small people. And through our study, we see that those is a weak link in the distribution system. So for this year, we released a merchant solution system. So any small merchant can integrate to Momo easily. And we also provide them a lot of inside information. So now, with that merchant solution, it's like a CTO to them, a CMO to them, CFO to them. Everything that they have for the customer and for cash management is already there. So I think that if everyone can come to the Momo app and selling their product, make the payment, what a chance.
Right.
Yeah.
So is it also like e-commerce as well?
Yes, a lot of
Okay.
things.
So that reminds me of when PayPal was first founded. They partnered with eBay, and that's one of the major factors that grew PayPal too. So, Mr. Diệp, Vietnam is a very special market, which also can make it very challenging because it requires local knowledge. So how have you been able to adapt? So, well, I know you're from Vietnam, but it's a pretty international company.
Yes.
So how have you been able to adapt to the market to the point that you're able to achieve such tremendous growth in your user base?
I think that one of the successful key is we develop a much better UI UX for the customer. For example, for QR code payment, when the other companies do a static QR code, you mean the paper that you can scan, put in your money and something like that, and customer have 5 steps to finish the payment. But for us, we just 1 step.
Wow.
The customer just pull out the phone, log in the app, and the merchant do all the rest. So that thing is help customer encourage them to pay instead of we even compete with the cash. We say that okay, you bring the cash and you pay for the cashier and you count the time. We like 2 seconds, the other like 30 seconds. So it's more convenient, time saver for everyone, something like that. And the other thing is we have a lot of customers and we analyze the data to have a customer insight. So we know our customer what they want, what they prefer, so we can offer the service to them and make the app more convenient to use in any way. Okay, so whenever you do touch more, it will come up to the top. So, yeah. So I think that those things, simple things, and Vietnamese thing is help people see that okay, Momo is care about customer. We try to do the work decently, and we are Vietnamese product. So that how to attract customer to Momo. Besides all kinds of service together that.
That's true. That's something I personally love about Momo as well, is that it's a Vietnamese brand. And now with globalization and a lot of international companies coming here, it's actually a really amazing success story that Momo has been able to achieve so much even as a Vietnamese brand. So great. So now we will move on to discuss the future of Momo, which is also very exciting, especially now that the Vietnam economy will begin to continue to grow even faster than before. And that your users are climbing so much and more people are using Momo by the day. So what do you think about the growth of the fintech industry in Vietnam, and how do you plan to adapt to new innovations in fintech, for example, blockchain?
I see that the technology is changing so much, and we don't know what happened in the next 2 years. But currently, Momo also adopt a lot of new technology, help to increase customer experience. For example, with AI and big data, we can use that to create personal product, the tailor-made product for every customers. Okay, for the chatbot, we can use chatbot to help increase efficiency of customer service. Yes, and for blockchain, we also explore it for money remittance, because blockchain can help decrease the cost of money remittance as well as smart contract. So I think that a lot of things to do now, and whenever help Momo to increase and have our customer happy, we do it.
So what about the regional market and the international market? I know one of Momo's biggest strengths is their local market advantage. But do you plan to go international?
I think the priority of Momo is still a local market, because that the payment and financial service is highly regulated in all country. So it's very difficult to move from one market to the market with the same product. You have to understand the regulatory You have to understand the customer and the behavior. So I think that we still focus most to the Vietnamese market right now.
I see. And do you have any other competitors besides the brands that have recently entered Vietnam, like such as PayPal or TransferWise? Do you have any international competitors?
Actually, for international international like that, we try to cooperate with them to create a much bigger ecosystem in here. Because TransferWise can transfer money, for example. Yeah. So that could be a new things in the near future for us.
Especially since more and more expats are moving to Vietnam and such. That would be even useful for me. Okay. And what about going public? Does Momo plan to go public in the future? Because you're such a big company and you continue to enjoy enormous growth and success. So does that mean we can expect you to go public soon?
Yes, I think that of course in the future we will go public with the IPO.
Okay, great. Mr. Diep, I saw that Momo has recently raised $100 million more in investment, and that is amazing. That's the biggest amount I've ever seen in the Vietnam market so far. So can you tell me about your experience fundraising?
I think that the digital economy in Vietnam is booming for the last few years. So a lot of investors come to Vietnam right now to invest to the tech company or fintech company. So I think that that's great opportunity for owner of the market, including us. So Momo now we got a success case study for everything. So we got a lot of customer come in and they want to invest with us. That's a very, very good side and very promising side for not for us but for owner of the market here.
And are most of these international investors, where are they from?
I think that they come all over the world.
Wow.
Yeah, they come all over the world. I think that's owner of investors in Momo is American.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yes.
So thank you for introducing me to Momo, to its past successes and challenges, and to its current successes. I'm so happy for you and happy for Momo. And now our final point. How do you define success personally and success for Momo?
I think that that for Momo we got 4 core values. That innovation, teamwork, constant learning, and execution, excellent in execution. So anybody with those characters and impress challenge would be very success in Momo, because now environment, product, anything is changing so much. So anyone embrace a challenge, flexibility enough, that would be very good in here. And for myself, if I can dedicate myself to my Vietnamese people life better and bring use technology to bring equality for the people so they can access the financial service easily. So that's my success.
That's amazing. I feel like you've already achieved it. Do you feel like successful yet?
I think that we 0 before and now we become 1, but small one. We need increase our success side much larger, because now Momo got 20% of Vietnamese market. I think it's not enough. We expect to have more, and if we want to increase in financial inclusion in the country, at least we have 50 million, 80 million. That will be enough for the size.
Is your target market mostly the urban population, or are you also reaching the rural population?
I think that rural areas is more important now, because now most of people in urban area have Momo already. So now we're moving down to the rural area to provide service for farmers, small merchant over there.
Okay. And do you have any advice for young entrepreneurs in Vietnam or young people who wish to start their own company and achieve some kind of success like you?
I think that the condition in Vietnam is different from US, and startup is not an easy game. Come to this far, Momo had 13 years, and we have 4 founders, and now only me left. So I think it's not easy. So my recommendation for the young people who want to do startup in Vietnam, that they have to accumulate more experience and more skill before the startup, and they should understand about Vietnamese regulatory, because it's different from the other country. We have very strong and tight regulatory, and what we start up should be within that framework. Yes.
Okay. And currently, does Momo have any marketing campaigns you want to share with the people?
I think that we want to turn Momo into something, emotional and fun for people, not using for payment, but you feel happy when you're using that. So together with the all, payment things, we also integrate a lot of things. Like you can work every day, you can work, and you can turn that to the golden pig, and donation that to the unfortunate people. And we also create a lot of games for people to play with the Momo. For example, now we celebrate 20 million customers, and we create a game called Momo Academy. So people can challenge each other. It's like who want to be the millionaire. Okay, people can challenge people together, play together, and with a very final prize like the cars or something amazing.
Wow.
Yeah. So I think that what we want to do to the customers is make them happy, because we just said that we don't need user, but we need happy users. That's what we strive for.
Okay. Yes. When I was using the app the other day, I was playing that game for quite a while. I was practicing my Vietnamese.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So great. Thank you so much for sharing all of your story and sharing about Momo's success and Momo's future, and about your advice for young people and investors. So everyone, we've come to the end of our episode. We were really lucky to have Mr. Diep here, the co-founder of Momo, on our show as one of Vietnam's most successful startups. I hope you enjoyed the subject matter, and I hope it inspired you and you found it pretty rewarding and informative. And thank you very much. And thank you, Mr. Diep.
Bye bye.